Have you ever finished a meal thinking you were eating something healthy, only to feel sluggish or dizzy an hour later? Or maybe you've been watching your sugar and still find your blood sugar creeping up, no matter what you do. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. Especially after 60, our bodies change in ways that can make managing blood sugar feel like trying to catch a bus that's always just out of reach. But here's the good news: you don't have to give up flavor, fun, or your favorite meals just because you're watching your blood sugar. In fact, what you eat can be one of the most powerful tools you have, not just to control your blood sugar naturally, but to feel more energized, more in control, and yes, even younger. In today's video, we're going to talk about 6 everyday foods that are not only delicious but also incredibly helpful for balancing blood sugar, especially if you're living with diabetes or prediabetes, or just want to stay ahead of it. These are simple additions you can start making right away. No fancy diets. No tasteless meals. Just good food that works with your body instead of against it. Let's start with a food that often surprises people. You probably already have it in your kitchen. It's one of the most overlooked ingredients for blood sugar control, yet it's been used for centuries for just that purpose. I'm talking about cinnamon. Not the kind that's hidden in sugary buns, but the real deal, ground cinnamon, sprinkled onto oatmeal, stirred into tea, or even added to roasted vegetables. Cinnamon has natural compounds that help improve insulin sensitivity and lower fasting blood sugar. And here's the best part: it doesn't take much. Even half a teaspoon a day can make a difference over time. I once spoke to a woman named Susan. She's 68 and has been living with type 2 diabetes for over a decade. She told me she started adding cinnamon to her morning smoothie just for taste, but over a few months, her blood sugar readings were more stable, and she didn't feel that mid-morning crash anymore. Now, of course, cinnamon is just one piece of the puzzle. Another food that packs a real punch is something most of us grew up with but maybe didn't love as kids: leafy greens. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard. These aren't just for salads anymore. They're full of fiber, magnesium, and antioxidants that help slow the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. And they don't have to be bland or boring. Imagine a warm spinach omelet with a sprinkle of cheese, or sautéed kale with garlic and olive oil. I always say, eating well doesn't mean punishing yourself, it means discovering better ways to enjoy the food you love. There's a man named Robert. He's 72 and swears by his breakfast green smoothie. Now, don't picture a complicated recipe or expensive ingredients. He just blends spinach, half a banana, a scoop of protein powder, and almond milk. He says it gives him steady energy through the morning and keeps his cravings in check. That's what we want, not just lower blood sugar on a test result, but better days, more clarity, more control over how you feel. And speaking of control, let's talk about a tiny food with mighty power: chia seeds. These little seeds are full of fiber and omega-3s, and they form a gel-like texture when mixed with liquid, which slows down digestion and helps prevent blood sugar spikes. They're perfect for overnight puddings, adding to yogurt, or even mixing into your water bottle. I know someone who mixes chia seeds with lemon juice and water first thing in the morning. It helps her feel full longer and keeps her digestion happy. When your digestion works well, your blood sugar often follows. These 3 foods, cinnamon, leafy greens, and chia seeds, are not just good for your blood sugar. They're also easy to add into your daily life without feeling like you're on a diabetic diet. That's so important, especially as we get older. Food should be something that brings comfort, nourishment, and even joy. You don't need a long list of restrictions, you need the right tools. And that's what these foods are: tools to help you feel better in your own body again. Now that we've talked about these first few delicious options, it's a great time to explore even more tasty foods that work with your body, not against it. Because once you start to see food as a friend in your health journey, not an enemy, everything changes. And trust me, this journey doesn't have to be hard. It just has to be yours. Now that we've talked about cinnamon, leafy greens, and chia seeds, let's keep going, because there are still a few powerful, tasty foods that can do wonders for your blood sugar, especially after 60. And the next one? You've probably walked past it in the store 100 times without realizing just how much it could help. It's beans. Yes, good old-fashioned beans, black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, lentils. They're affordable, easy to prepare, and packed with fiber and protein, which means they help slow down the release of sugar into your bloodstream after meals. That's key if you're dealing with post-meal sugar spikes, which so many people with diabetes struggle with. Beans are also low on the glycemic index, meaning they don't cause sudden spikes in blood sugar. And they're so versatile, you can add them to soups, stews, salads, or mash them into spreads. I met a couple once, both in their 70s, who make a big pot of lentil soup every Sunday and eat it throughout the week. They said it became their little health ritual, and they noticed their energy lasting longer and their blood sugar readings staying more stable. But if you're not into beans, or you just want something a little sweeter, the next food might surprise you. It's berries. That's right, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries. You might think fruit is off limits if you're managing blood sugar, but berries are actually one of the best choices out there. They're full of antioxidants, fiber, and natural compounds that help improve insulin response. The key is portion and pairing. About half a cup of berries, paired with a protein like Greek yogurt or a handful of nuts, can be a great blood sugar-friendly snack. I remember talking to an older gentleman. He said he used to eat a sugary pastry every morning with his coffee. Once he switched to plain yogurt with berries and cinnamon, not only did his blood sugar improve, but he said he didn't feel as tired or foggy mid-morning. Sometimes the right swap makes all the difference. Now let's talk about one of the most underrated tools in the kitchen, vinegar. More specifically, apple cider vinegar. Just a small amount, about a tablespoon mixed with water before a meal, can help blunt the blood sugar spike that comes after eating. Studies have shown that vinegar slows down the digestion of starch and improves insulin sensitivity. Now, I get it, it's not the tastiest thing in the world on its own. But you don't have to drink it straight. Use it as salad dressing, mix it with lemon and olive oil, or stir a little into your water with a dash of cinnamon. One woman I met said she started doing this before lunch and dinner, and within a couple of weeks, she noticed fewer sugar crashes in the afternoon. She even slept better, which she hadn't expected at all. And that's the thing, when you start supporting your body with the right foods, all kinds of things begin to shift. It's not just about the numbers on your meter. It's about how you feel day to day. More energy. Less brain fog. Fewer cravings. And most importantly, more confidence that you're doing something positive for yourself, without relying on extremes or quick fixes. Now, I know it can feel overwhelming at first. You hear so many different opinions, eat this, don't eat that. But the truth is, you don't have to overhaul your whole life to see results. You just need a few reliable tools, foods that nourish your body, support your blood sugar, and still bring joy to the table. And I hope you're starting to see that those foods exist. They're simple. They're delicious. And they're already within reach. When you think about it, food is one of the few things we do every single day. And that means every day is a new chance to support your health, even in small ways. Whether it's adding spinach to your eggs, swapping your dessert for berries, or sprinkling a little cinnamon into your coffee, every step counts. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep showing up for yourself. One meal at a time. One day at a time. Let's wrap things up with one final food, one that many people overlook, even though it's one of the most powerful tools for managing blood sugar naturally. And that's nuts. Walnuts, almonds, pistachios, even peanuts, they're packed with healthy fats, fiber, and protein, all of which help slow down the absorption of sugar in your system. What makes them especially helpful for seniors is that they're also heart-friendly, which is important if you're managing both diabetes and high cholesterol, something that often goes hand in hand after 60. Now, the key is moderation. A small handful of nuts, not the whole bag, can be the perfect snack to hold you over between meals or to pair with a piece of fruit like an apple. I once knew a woman in her late 60s who kept a little jar of almonds in her purse. She said anytime she felt her energy dip, or she got hungry while running errands, she'd nibble on a few. Not only did it stop her from grabbing something sugary, but over time she felt more stable, less moody, and more in control of her eating. That little habit became a form of self-care, simple, but powerful. Now let's take a step back. You've just learned about 6 foods that aren't just diabetic-friendly, they're life-friendly. They support your energy, your mood, your digestion, and yes, your blood sugar. And what's beautiful about these foods is that they're not some rare, hard-to-find superfoods. They're things you can pick up on your next trip to the store: leafy greens, cinnamon, chia seeds, beans, berries, vinegar, and nuts. Real, whole foods that your body understands, and more importantly, that your body responds to. But here's the part one really want you to hear: this isn't about being perfect. This isn't about going on a diet or cutting out everything you love. It's about making food work for you, not against you. It's about small, steady changes that fit into your life, not turn it upside down. 1 sprinkle of cinnamon in your oatmeal. 1 handful of spinach in your smoothie. 1 night a week with lentil soup instead of fast food. It's not about giving things up. It's about gaining control. And if you've been struggling with your blood sugar or feeling frustrated that nothing seems to help, just know this: your age is not a barrier. It's not too late. In fact, now might be the perfect time. Because you have wisdom. You have experience. You know what works for your body and what doesn't. And you don't need to chase fads or quick fixes. You just need a few steady habits. A few go-to foods. And the belief that your health is worth the effort. So here's what I encourage you to do: pick one of these foods. Just one. Add it to your routine this week. Notice how you feel. Give it a few days. Then try another. Let this be a slow, steady shift, not a sprint. Because real change doesn't come from pressure. It comes from consistency. From care. From choosing, day by day, to support the body you've lived in, worked with, and loved for over 60 years. And if you're already doing some of these things, take a moment to celebrate that. Really. So many people overlook their progress. But if you're here, if you're watching this video, if you're still learning and growing and showing up for yourself, that's something to be proud of. Your health journey doesn't end after 60. In many ways, this is just the beginning of a whole new chapter. If this video helped you, or if you've already tried some of these foods and noticed a difference, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Share your experience. You never know who might read it and feel inspired to start making a change, too. And if you found this helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. It helps the channel grow, and it lets me know you want more videos just like this. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any tips to support your health, your energy, and your independence, because you deserve all of that and more. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. Small choices, small steps, and a lot of heart, that's the path to lasting health. Here's to living your best life at any age. You've got this.